Good morning, everybody. As you know, Keith Kochner, the mentor here. I love that name. It's a nickname that was given to me many years ago in the industry, and because I'm such a fanatic about mentorship. I mean, without mentorship, I don't know where I would be in my life today. But before I get too much further into that, I want to welcome you to Good Morning Greatness, Episode 2. Good Morning Greatness, Episode 2. Many of you have heard me sharing over the last several months. I've been thinking and pondering about what I want to do differently as I enter into the number three, I can't believe it makes me feel super old, the third decade of my speaking career. And one of the things I'm realizing more than ever is that my platform or my ability to influence or impact, I don't want it to be, and it shouldn't be limited to just a stage as a keynote or just a live event in one of my 1 day or 2 day events or just other areas of a professional setting. One of the things I was committed to is really letting people in at a closer level to me, my life, my successes, more importantly, my struggles, things that have worked, things that haven't worked, and really let people in at a deeper level because I believe I have been gifted with wonderful access to mentors, wonderful experiences, and most importantly, the mind that God gave me to think differently than most people think. And of course, my ability to communicate and to really serve people in that capacity. And so as I get into this episode number 2, which I started the first one on Friday, just to give you kind of an update of what's going on, and I really hope you take the time to listen to this entire video because I think it'll be create a lot of value for you, is that I'm going to start doing these on a morning basis. Good morning greatness. I can't tell you, most people's day is decided within the first 5 to 10 minutes of them being awake. Did you know that? The outcome of most people's day, or the joy or the lack of joy, the success or the lack of success, the encouragement or the depression, the movement or the regression or the go backwards, is decided within the first 5 and 10 minutes of being awake. Because think about that. As you lay awake, those first few minutes, what are the first things that start flooding into your mind for the day? I mean, if you get really personal, what are the first things that flood into your mind? Is it the excitement to be awake in the day? Is it the excitement to roll over and see your spouse, or maybe the dread? Is it the excitement or passion to have all your kids come running into the bedroom, or is it the same thing? Is it like, oh man, my kids are coming down. I just want to stay in bed longer. Is it the excitement of getting out of bed and getting ready and going to your work? Is it the discouragement of you have to get out of bed and you have to go to your job? Is it the excitement to live another full day, or is it the fear of the pressures of what that day may bring in the realm of, what you have to do or what you have to perform for, or the finances of the day, or that financial pressure? Or is it the anger or the bitterness, or is it joy and hope and gratefulness? See, there's so many things that go through somebody's mind in that first 5 to 10 minutes of waking up. Most of the time, it's before your head even leaves the pillow. So one of the things I really want to do with this Good Morning Greatness is, many of you have heard me teach success and business and growth, and I'm going to continue teaching those things. But as I began to really look at my own career and really how I want to serve people, I began to see that I believe it's deeper than that. You can go on Facebook, as I often do, and look and scroll through, and you can see, there are so many options for people that want to motivate you, help you take your business to another level. And there's a lot of great options, by the way. I'm not knocking them. There are a lot of great options out there. There are a lot of stupid, corny ones. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry is trying to get your attention for something, and I understand that. But there are a lot of good ones that want to help you grow your business, or help you start a business, or help you live your dreams and your ambitions, especially this time of year into a new year and a new decade. Those are all there. They're a dime a dozen. Some of them are very valuable. If that's something you're looking for, then I would highly suggest looking to one of those things. But what I'm really wanting to do more of in my career is serve people at some levels of their life that probably happen before you even think about those things. And it really comes down to a day-by-day decision. I'm not suggesting greatness can't be big and grandiose. I believe it can be for some people. But I believe for more people, at least that's how it's been in my life, greatness really isn't about how much you achieve or how much money you make. It's how do you live every single day of your life. And that's really where I'm looking to meet people more frequently. In the mornings, good morning greatness. Hello, good morning is like saying good morning, Keith. I might say good morning to you, but as I welcome my greatness into my life every single day, I say good morning greatness. Am I going to walk? You can't walk towards it, but you've heard my statement, you can't walk towards your greatness, you can only walk away from it, because I believe we all have it within us. But so many people I've met make a decision before the day even gets started. In that first 5 to 10 minutes, they walk away from it because something distracts them from it. Something discourages away their attention to something different. And so I want to meet people more in that intimate place. If you look back over the last year, and this is going to kind of set the tone, because it's easy to do this time of year, right? Because it's the end of a year. Now we're into a new year. It's Monday of a brand new year. We can't put it off any longer. It's the official first full work week. I've been amazed over the last 2 weeks how many people act like they can't do anything simply because a holiday in the middle of a week throws them off. Like Christmas took care of that whole week. New Year's took care of all of last week. But now people are like, okay, I've got no more excuses. I got to get started. It's the first full work week of a brand new 2020, brand new decade, brand new year, and you've got to face the music. That's how a lot of people feel. If I can just share a few things with you, and this might wet your whistle a little bit, because I really want to take these morning sessions to be connected to all of you. What are you up against? What are you wrestling with? What are your struggles? What are you trying to survive? How do you feel on a daily basis when your circumstances feel like they're just stuck and they're stalled out? How are you going to handle it? You say, Keith, what would you know about that? Don't you have the perfect life? Haven't you lived 20 years of speaking and success and just growth? You're very well known. You've been on some of the biggest stages in the world. Well, those things are all true. But I want to warn you, just like my life and just like you see on social media, a lot of times when you only look from the outside looking in, things look perfect. Things look polished. Things look exactly how people want them to see. You've never seen anybody really post on Facebook the pictures of when they're fighting with their spouse, or when they're arguing with their kids, or when an unexpected financial strain hits somebody's life. Excuse me. You never see those things on Facebook. Facebook is what I call the illusion of success, or Instagram, or different things of that nature. So I may know a lot more about struggle than you probably think I do. I may know a lot more about surviving. If there's anything that I'm really qualified to be the mentor in more than anything, it's probably struggle, survival, and weathering the wilderness, or weathering what I would describe as stalled circumstances, because in my life, even at the age of 44, things still don't look like, if I'm being 100% honest, which is what this Good Morning Greatness is really all about, and what my new vision for what I want to do to serve people going into this new decade is really all about. It hasn't looked how I want it to look. I'm not where I thought I would be. I'm still struggling in things I thought I would no longer be struggling in. So to give you some examples, if I go back and look over 2019, I thought that year would be a lot smoother than it was. When I was sitting here last year this time, I thought, man, 2019, it's going to be the year that really hits the tipping point of different things. Many of you know I have a startup, and that is a wonderful startup. It's an amazing opportunity to provide resources to people at a level still that most people don't have access to in the fitness and health industry. Well, that startup is exciting, but it's also a lot of pressure. I've got partners. I'm involved personally. It's put a lot of weight on me. And, it still hasn't done what I would like to do yet. So that means it's still, not over the tipping point as far as growth goes. And of course, financial success is linked to that tipping point in growth and profitability. It still hasn't hit that yet. So that's been a struggle. Even in the industry that I've been in for 2 decades, the leadership and professional development industry, it's changing because our society is changing. People's mindset is changing. So quite honestly, last year was probably, if you're looking at not impact and influence, because there's a lot of good things about last year. I spoke on some of the biggest stages, made some of the biggest impacts, different things of that nature. But you know what? The business model is changing. So I've got to look at, hey, Keith, what you've been doing, it's evolving. Many of you have heard me teach about network marketing. There's a shift coming to that industry. That's a huge portion of what I do in my career. Well, there's a huge shift coming to my industry, and I'm having to be aware of that. I'm having to look at that and seeing what's going to change. The business model was changing and is changing right in front of me. So my business, my personal business, Mentorship Mastery, my brand has looked a lot different in 2019 than I ever thought it would look. And anytime you have to shift business models or look for ways to do things differently, profits are affected. My overhead doesn't change just because the industry changing. You see what I'm saying? So I've had, cash flow struggles that I haven't had in quite some time. I've had to learn to do different things. My wife and I, going into the second half of last year, we really looked at our goals and our commitment to where we want to be in the future. And we decided, what? We've grown. We have matured over the years. For example, if I go back all the way to my late 20s going to the 30, I had a goal. I wanted to be a millionaire by the time I was 30. I hit it. But I had so many stupid things. I have 4 homes, 7 cars, 3 boats, and a tour bus. I had all this crazy stuff because I needed it in my identity. I've grown a long way from there, but you know what? I don't know that I've grown far enough away from there. And so my wife and I, we decided to really look going into third and fourth quarter of last year, how can we become better stewards? How can we look at our finances more wisely? How can we live more lean? How can we be more aggressive in being good stewards? How can we decrease our fixed overhead? How can we pay off more debts? How can we be better stewards with our finances? How can we give more? Because that's really what drove that conversation. My wife and I are so passionate about giving, not just from our gifts and talents, but there's things that we want to give more to financially. Our ministries that we support, our local church, things that we just believe in. We want to be able to be more, what's the word I'm looking for? We want to be able to mobilize quicker, react faster, when God tells us to plant seed into somebody's life or give to somebody. We don't have to think about bills. We don't have to want to think about our overhead. So we decided to take on stewardship at a whole new level. Well, that's meant a lot of changes, which I'm going to be sharing with you over the next several weeks going into the new year. So what I'm saying is my life isn't as polished as it may have come across. I'm not denying that I've had success or that I'm not apologizing for that either, but you know what? In comparison to where I want to go, in comparison to what I have in my mind, the visions, the things I've seen for what I believe it will be, I believe I'm just getting started still. So I feel like I'm still at the very beginning of my career. I'm at the very beginning of what I believe God's called me to do, to serve people. So I know a lot more about survival than you may think. I know a lot more about stalled circumstances than you may think. But here's what I want to do. I want to serve people more in those situations. Now, I may share my stories and different things, but that's something I can do easily. I'm really good at coming up with, hey, let me share you the story, and let me create a couple points of value for you to think about today. But you know, what I want to do differently, and I may do that sometimes, but what I want to do more than ever, if you will be willing to be as authentic with me as I'm willing to be with you, one of the things I'm committed to doing differently this year is not always having to know what I think I need to share with you in a moment. What I really want to do is make myself available to connect with you more and share with you or maybe speak to something you are wrestling with. What didn't work for you last year? I shared a few things for me that didn't work last year, and those are just some of them off the top of my mind. There's a lot more if I really sat and focused on it, which I may share some of those stories with you as well. But what I really like to hear, if you're willing to take the challenge and connect with me to allow me to connect with you more, what didn't work for you last year? What are you still thinking about in the first 5 to 10 minutes when you wake up in the morning? What has the potential, excuse my hand there, I'm still getting used to this and working on my gimbal. I got a new phone case for my phone so it doesn't fit into my gimbal that I was so excited about using, so I'm holding it today. But what I really want to hear, if you're willing to share, is what are you struggling with? What didn't work for you? What are you thinking about? What's robbing you of your greatness on a daily basis? The little things. Is it strife with your spouse? Is it insecurity? Is it fear? Is it financial pressure? Is it your parenting challenges? What is it for you? Is it you're looking for faith and you haven't found what you thought you would find yet in your faith? I want to serve you, and I'm not acting like I have all the answers. You know, the mentor, that's a nickname. That doesn't mean I have all your answers or that I think I know everything, because I don't. But I do have this. I have 2 decades of experience. I have a heart to want to serve people, and I have gifts that God's given me to really serve people. And I want to speak directly into your life exactly where you are. But the only way I know how to do that is to ask you, where are you? What topics would you like me to talk about? What would you like me to speak to? Maybe you could be very personal, maybe very pointing to the Keith, speak to this. This is what I'm struggling with. This is what I wake up thinking about. The best way I know how to ask that is what goes through your mind in those first 5 to 10 minutes of you waking up. Because that's exactly what you're saying good morning to. How are you starting your day? I want to speak to those things because I think I can help create value to those things in your life. So here's what you can do. These videos, I'm going to be going live here shortly on my new YouTube channel at 6 a.m. These are a little off on time because I'm not live yet on YouTube, but I'm going to be going live. So you're going to be able to comment beneath this video, whether it's live or it's posted. So comment topics. Comment what you're in the middle of that you want me to speak to. You know, if it's too personal to you and you don't want to comment because you don't want other people to see it, that's okay. Send me an email personally to my email, Keith, Keith, at mentorshipmastery.com. Keith at mentorshipmastery.com. So if you don't want the world to know, I'm okay with that. Some of it might be very personal, but send me that email and I'll speak to it without a name attached to it. I promise you that. But I want to give you the ability to connect with me at a very personal level and be very real and authentic. because I think that's part of what greatness is. And that's how I want to serve you. Of course, I want to invite you not only to comment to this video if you want to right beneath it, send me that email, and most importantly, subscribe to this channel because I'm going to be doing these every day that I can, helping and supporting you, walking out life with you on a daily basis. How do you survive on a daily basis? How do you walk out today's struggles? How do you handle another day of stalled circumstances? And I'll be talking about the exciting stuff too as we get to know each other more and more in this new decade. But that's what I'm committed to, really helping you in the areas of your life that probably no one else is really asking you about. Or maybe they are, but you're too shy or too embarrassed or too shameful to share. You don't have to be. I'm not going to be. I'm no longer going to create a facade of perfection or that I've arrived. I want to be real, raw, and relevant. And I hope that will help move you to the next level of your life. So that's really what these are all about. Good morning, greatness. How do you really walk it out on a daily basis? So I've said enough for today. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. I hope you did. I'm really going to encourage you to watch it and share it with other people if you'd like. Feel free to share the video because I really want to serve people at a new level this year, and I want your help to do that. So that's what I'm up to. I will see you again in another day or so with another Good Morning Greatness session. Tomorrow I'm going live in a boot camp that we've got started for the first 12 Tuesdays of 2020. And so it may be a little off on the time, but I'll get another one out for you all tomorrow. So I appreciate your day. God bless you. And remember, live great.